In Pokemon, speed can be argued as the most important stat, since if you move first and knock out the opposing Pokemon, you don't really have to deal with your defenses being low. So I naturally thought, how far can I take this? So today, I made the fastest Pokemon possible.
Before we begin, every video I normally have the amount of subscribers I have at the time of recording thrown at me in ping pong balls, but there's nowhere that sells them in bulk, so I'm switching to marshmallows. But still, if you were one of my milestone subscribers, you get your name written on a ping pong ball, like 100 and 200, and if you were my 300 subscriber, please let me know in the comments. And enough with my rambling, time for marshmallows! Anyway, that was all, and on with the video.
Let's start with Regieleki, the fastest Pokemon. It also happens to be one of my favorite Pokemon.
I actually have a pleasure of him right here.
At level 10, with 31 IVs in speed and 252 EVs in speed, with a plus speed nature, we already have a speed stat of 548. Pretty respectable. Then, if we give it plus 6 speed, which quadruples its speed, it leaves it at a speed stat of 2,192.
By the way, with all of that already, Regieleki can outspeed Trick Room. Let that sink in. It is cold out there. Sinks have feeling too. That was stupid. Why would it?
Quick tangent here, the way that Trick Room reverses turn order and calculates speed is by subtracting each Pokemon's speed by 10,000. For example, say this Bronzong had a speed stat of 130. After Trick Room, it would have a speed stat of 9,870. The one problem with that is that Pokemon games have a cap to the stats, being 8,192. And as you can see, the Bronzong stat passes the limit, making it loop around to 1,678, and making the faster Pokemon move later. However, if a Pokemon's speed reaches 1,808 or more, it reaches the cap after subtracting it from 10,000, meaning that it doesn't overflow, allowing Regieleki to bend time and space to stay the fastest Pokemon on the field. Now to continue making it faster. If we use Skill Swap, we could give it the ability Swift Swim, which doubles its speed in the rain. Then, if we make it hold the Choice Scarf item, it gives it a 1.5 times multiplier on its speed, on the caveat of locking it to only one item. We could make it even faster with Tailwind and possibly some other stuff that I've forgotten, but do you remember the cap we talked about earlier with Trick Room? With the stuff I've already added, Regieleki has a staggering speed. Say that 5 times fast. Staggering speed is that staggering speed. Anyways, Regieleki has a staggering speed stat of 6,576, and doubling the speed with Tailwind brings it to 13,152, which overflows all the way back to 4,960. Adding Tailwind actually makes it slower. Now, I wanted to actually demonstrate the speed with the move Electro Ball, an electric-type move that scales in base power the faster the user is than the target. Unfortunately, since the move caps at 150 base power, when the ratio is a quarter or less, that means that any Pokemon with a speed stat of 1,644 or less, so basically all of them, would get the maximum power move. Guess what? This is also a strongest move video, ha ha ha! We can take the slowest water flying type, which is the only type quad weak to electric, and it is Ducklet. Then we minimize its special defense and speed, and then skill swap to give it slow start and give it an Iron Ball. We make the slowest Pokemon possible with a speed stat of 1, because Pokemon can't go lower than that, and also a special defense of 1. I'm going to approximate the base power if it didn't cap, and the ratio is 0.0152%. So I estimate the base power to be about 310 if it didn't cap, but I'm going to do the rest of the calculations with it actually capping. Sad. Now that we have the stats, it's time for the setup, and consequently, the team. First, we have Regieleki, named 1.21 gigawatts, because he's going way faster than 80 miles per hour. He's holding the Choice Scarf and has Electro Ball and then Agility that I forgot to remove from the Trick Room demonstration. Next is Psyduck, named Headache for obvious reasons. She has Scratch to waste turns and Skill Swap, along with the ability Swift Swim. Next up is Spin the Inkay, Slash to waste a turn, and Topsy-Turvy to inverse stat changes. Then is Regigigas, which is only here to waste a turn and transfer its ability, Slow Start. And here we have Miracle and Musical, the Oricorios, named after one of my favorite bands. They both have Quiver Dance from breeding, and Baton Pass. I use them because of their ability Dancer copying Quiver Dance, meaning to max out stats, we only need 3 turns as opposed to 6. Then we have Black Hole, the shiny Palossand. Ignore how it's gotten a quick ball, this was one of my first shinies and I didn't think about ball matching. It has Skill Swap, Shore Up, and Rain Dance, plus an unnecessary Bulldoze. And finally, we have our poor Ducklet, named Shiba. You know, the colors of Ducklet seem kind of familiar. Are you kidding me? Anyways, she's holding the Iron Ball and just has a Water Gun. We start off with Regigigas, Black Hole, Miracle, and Musical. Miracle and Musical will just be using Quiver Dance for the next 3 turns. Regigigas will just waste a turn, and Black Hole skill swaps on Regigigas. Turn 2, Regigigas swaps out with Headache, Miracle Musical continues Quiver Dancing, and Black Hole wastes a turn. Turn 3, Headache and Black Hole keep wasting turns, and Miracle Musical keeps Quiver Dancing, as always. Turn 4, Miracle Baton passes to 1.21 gigawatts, and Musical Baton passes to Shiva. Then Headache skill swaps Regieleki and Black Hole skill swaps Ducklet. Turn 5, Psyduck switches to Spin, and everyone else wastes a turn. Turn 6, Inkay Topsy-Turvies on Ducklet, which makes it +6 special attack, special defense, and speed to turn to -6. Then Palossand uses Rain Dance, and Ducklet and Regieleki waste more turns. And finally, on turn 7, Regieleki uses Electro Ball on Ducklet, and absolutely obliterates Shiba, dealing 2,060,452 damage. But we can optimize the amount of damage this deals. We only have to change a few things. First, we replace Choice Scarf with Choice Specs on Regieleki and replace Electro Ball with Hyper Beam. Then, we can replace Psyduck with an Alolan Graveler or Golem with Galvanize and Electric Terrain. We'll need a few extra turns for a skill swap with the Palossand. We can also switch out Stone Turner for Inkay with Power Spall on the final turn, and hope to crit. I didn't have time to film this since I thought it up while writing the script, but with all of that above, this move deals 4,124,755, which honestly is nowhere near the possible amount of damage using a maxed out Lasso Specs, which can have a base power of 5,005, whereas this has a base power of 180. Yippee. Thank you so much for watching the entire video. Check out the bottom of the description, and please consider subscribing. It helps out a ton. Yippee!